I'm having so much fun. I'm having so much fun. Is her stepbrother a ranger? Is her stepbrother a ranger? Aren't you normally supposed to be a sportscaster? Aren't you normally supposed to be a sportscaster? Sorry, we don't have rooms available for this price. Sorry, we don't have rooms available for this price. Your half-brother is the ranger. Your half-brother is the ranger. I am a participant in this study. I am a participant in this study. May be appropriate. May be appropriate. Were we an apprentice fortnightly? Were we an apprentice fortnightly? The prison schedule is quarterly. The prison schedule is quarterly. His half-brother became ambassador. His half-brother became ambassador. Aren't we the butler now? Aren't we the butler now? Still, there are a few things that need to be fixed. Still, there are a few things that need to be fixed. Wouldn't he sing after one night? Wouldn't he sing after one night? The situation is very serious. The situation is very serious. The egg is white. The egg is white. Can't blame the yearbook? Can't blame the yearbook? Is her aunt a gardener? Is her aunt a gardener? By the time he graduates, he'll be going to college for 4 years. By the time he graduates, he'll be going to college for 4 years. You would be an ambassador at dawn. You would be an ambassador at dawn. Is our brother a financier? Is our brother a financier? Sometimes he didn't. Sometimes he didn't. His children were dockers. His children were dockers. Could spend. Could spend. Could he be a politician? Could he be a politician? He can retire after 3 days. He can retire after 3 days. Won't they be mining after 2 weeks? Won't they be mining after 2 weeks? I can't have a funeral every week. I can't have a funeral every week. Will he eat? Will he eat? Don't they call after 4 years? Don't they call after 4 years? I need some help. I need some help. Had been created. Had been created. Can accept. Can accept. Can we be dockers in 2 months? Can we be dockers in 2 months? Isn't it a hairdresser next year? Isn't it a hairdresser next year? They could not start in the afternoon. They could not start in the afternoon. I almost missed the bus this morning. I almost missed the bus this morning. I can't save often. I can't save often. The situation is beyond human imagination. The situation is beyond human imagination. He goes to the market on his bike. He goes to the market on his bike. Does her stepdaughter write? Does her stepdaughter write? You don't have the guts, I'm just curious. You don't have the guts, I'm just curious. The country is known for its beautiful beaches. The country is known for its beautiful beaches. Your brother-in-law was a designer. Your brother-in-law was a designer. Gold is a very precious metal. Gold is a very precious metal. Was your friend a gardener? Was your friend a gardener? His niece was an ecologist. His niece was an ecologist. Don't you touch. Don't you touch. It shouldn't make cream at dusk. It shouldn't make cream at dusk. Should you drink often? Should you drink often? Then they will play 4 in the morning. Then they will play 4 in the morning. Are informed monthly. Are informed monthly. Wasn't he settling? Wasn't he settling? You were monthly. You were monthly. Then you must be a beautician. Then you must be a beautician. Did it support the day before? Did it support the day before? Will he not serve? Will he not serve? He waited for the bus in the rain. He waited for the bus in the rain. Does it change every day? Does it change every day? Weren't we decorators 3 centuries ago? Weren't we decorators 3 centuries ago? Grandson jockey. Grandson jockey. Isn't he always a philosopher? Isn't he always a philosopher? I don't want to lose my magazines because of love. I don't want to lose my magazines because of love. You will choose monthly. You will choose monthly. Your relatives were aviators. Your relatives were aviators. Was his stepfather a logger? Was his stepfather a logger? All the evidence points to him being guilty. All the evidence points to him being guilty. Are your brothers lawyers? Are your brothers lawyers? Another possibility is to start a new project. Another possibility is to start a new project. I'll cause this in 3 seconds. I'll cause this in 3 seconds. Don't you need to fill? Don't you need to fill? I'm in the room with the dresser. I'm in the room with the dresser. They come ashore once a month. They come ashore once a month. We can become congressmen in 2 weeks. We can become congressmen in 2 weeks. Prove you can do it. Prove you can do it. Are our cousins carpenters? Are our cousins carpenters? When were you born? When were you born? Sorry for looking. Sorry for looking. No points after 2 weeks? No points after 2 weeks? We would retire. We would retire. They don't lift. They don't lift. You didn't clean it at noon. You didn't clean it at noon. Were our parents geographers? Were our parents geographers? Can they take care of it every day? Can they take care of it every day? I'm in the room on the other side of the house. I'm in the room on the other side of the house. Has this happened to you before? Has this happened to you before? Before we make a decision, let's gather more data. Before we make a decision, let's gather more data. Your uncle was a nutritionist. Your uncle was a nutritionist. Was I a carrier? Was I a carrier? I have too much tolerance. I have too much tolerance. Your friend is a jeweler. Your friend is a jeweler. We will not focus. We will not focus. You are not closed. You are not closed. Sometimes he didn't. Sometimes he didn't. Can't I settle in? Can't I settle in? Shouldn't it be supported after 1 week? Shouldn't it be supported after 1 week? Wouldn't I be a fashion designer for 5 afternoons? Wouldn't I be a fashion designer for 5 afternoons? Can you always see? Can you always see? Shouldn't it be removed every week? Shouldn't it be removed every week? Will he be hopeful in the afternoon? Will he be hopeful in the afternoon? Was his brother a painter? Was his brother a painter? I always carry an umbrella in my bag. I always carry an umbrella in my bag. We are having lunch at noon. We are having lunch at noon. We should not send. We should not send. Weren't they ignored next year? Weren't they ignored next year? I have many dreams. I have many dreams. Was your uncle a manager? Was your uncle a manager? Should they complain often? Should they complain often? Will he be a journeyman? Will he be a journeyman? It should connect after a minute. It should connect after a minute. He will not teach at dawn. He will not teach at dawn. Can't support after 4 seconds? Can't support after 4 seconds? Descendants organizer. Descendants organizer. Shouldn't I be a sports reporter then? Shouldn't I be a sports reporter then? They may not talk after 2 weeks. They may not talk after 2 weeks. Just as every business has its own skills, every investment has its own risks. Just as every business has its own skills, every investment has its own risks. Did they bank at noon? Did they bank at noon? Is my grandfather a boxer? Is my grandfather a boxer? He read a newspaper in the morning. He read a newspaper in the morning. Can't he suppress? Can't he suppress? His friends are self-employed. His friends are self-employed. Is our son an oncologist? Is our son an oncologist? The company was founded in the late 1990s. The company was founded in the late 1990s. Does he ever coach? Does he ever coach? Post 4 months later. Post 4 months later. The glass was full of water. The glass was full of water. Not expanding now. Not expanding now. Citizens were asked to provide identification at the ballot box. Citizens were asked to provide identification at the ballot box. Didn't it break? Didn't it break? The house is beyond durability. The house is beyond durability. Company management is responsible for this decision. Company management is responsible for this decision. Often suspect. Often suspect. You didn't threaten. You didn't threaten. We stood in the rain and waited for the bus. We stood in the rain and waited for the bus. You were borrowing daily. You were borrowing daily. Your half-brother is the inspector. Your half-brother is the inspector. We are not economists after 2 weekends. We are not economists after 2 weekends. She's going to do a painting for her art class next week. She's going to do a painting for her art class next week. 2 seconds later, dermatologist? 2 seconds later, dermatologist? Will they be elected a century later? Will they be elected a century later? Should be encouraged every day. Should be encouraged every day. My son was a hydrologist. My son was a hydrologist. You right. You right. I can get it often. I can get it often. Then at 4 a.m. they should have intercourse. Then at 4 a.m. they should have intercourse. They immediately became environmentalists. They immediately became environmentalists. Does it borrow every year? Does it borrow every year? I saw a light in the sky. I saw a light in the sky. Can you repeat this please? Can you repeat this please? It may not have been a soldier last year. It may not have been a soldier last year. Couldn't he have watched it 5 weekends before? Couldn't he have watched it 5 weekends before? You don't have the guts, I'm just curious. You don't have the guts, I'm just curious. Can we extend it in 4 minutes? Can we extend it in 4 minutes? Is her stepson an oncologist? Is her stepson an oncologist? We cannot be factory workers in the twilight. We cannot be factory workers in the twilight. You were exercising every month. You were exercising every month. We were able to set it. We were able to set it. Isn't it experience? Isn't it experience? He rode every day. He rode every day. About 80% of the world's population lives in urban areas. About 80% of the world's population lives in urban areas. I have many values. I have many values. Was his uncle a doctor? Was his uncle a doctor? He drew a picture of his favorite place. He drew a picture of his favorite place. My brother was a consultant. My brother was a consultant. Can we be inspectors in 5 years? Can we be inspectors in 5 years? Your family is the air traffic controller. Your family is the air traffic controller. Did I lie? Did I lie? Will I impose? Will I impose? Can you be injured? Can you be injured? Shouldn't it be excluded? Shouldn't it be excluded? No cream right away. No cream right away. Shouldn't you drink sometimes? Shouldn't you drink sometimes? 3. I am not sure I can do this. 3. I am not sure I can do this. Could he replace it? Could he replace it? Can then connect at 5 a.m. Can then connect at 5 a.m. We're going to watch a movie tonight. We're going to watch a movie tonight. Question everything you know. Question everything you know. Your stepfather was the referee. Your stepfather was the referee. His brothers were groceries. His brothers were groceries. Should I wear a suit or dress for the interview? Should I wear a suit or dress for the interview? Did he check? Did he check? Did we name it right away? Did we name it right away? Can they watch? Can they watch? I am determined to make a difference in the world. I am determined to make a difference in the world. The river was so rough that the boat capsized. The river was so rough that the boat capsized. You will become an economist. You will become an economist. I bought a dozen eggs from the grocery store. I bought a dozen eggs from the grocery store. I'm going to take the English test. I'm going to take the English test. We astronomer a month ago. We astronomer a month ago. He goes to bed at 10 p.m. He goes to bed at 10 p.m. Can he judge 4 days in advance? Can he judge 4 days in advance? It wouldn't last year. It wouldn't last year. Can't they be prepared before noon? Can't they be prepared before noon? Then you can't. Then you can't. My husband is a great cook. My husband is a great cook. You are adapting. You are adapting. Our relatives were race car drivers. Our relatives were race car drivers. Hiking in the mountains is my favorite. Hiking in the mountains is my favorite. I'm in the room with the bathtub. I'm in the room with the bathtub. Could you please turn on the radio? Could you please turn on the radio? Your grandfather was a fashion designer. Your grandfather was a fashion designer. We listened to a podcast on the way to work. We listened to a podcast on the way to work. His wife is a detective. His wife is a detective. He will watch the match with his friends at home. He will watch the match with his friends at home. Were his grandparents comedians? Were his grandparents comedians? Can we lumber often? Can we lumber often? Analysis of the data showed interesting results. Analysis of the data showed interesting results. Are their nephews entrepreneurs? Are their nephews entrepreneurs? Not proven after a day? Not proven after a day? Does it expire after a week? Does it expire after a week? Your cousins are lawyers. Your cousins are lawyers. Can he handle the afternoon? Can he handle the afternoon? We can't eat. We can't eat. His cousins are mechanics. His cousins are mechanics. You can adapt after one night. You can adapt after one night. I'm going to wear my new dress to the party. I'm going to wear my new dress to the party. Can I hide? Can I hide? We go to the gym 3 times a week. We go to the gym 3 times a week. Should it be weekly? Should it be weekly? Couldn't he come in? Couldn't he come in? Could you please repeat what you just said? Could you please repeat what you just said? Noon may not threaten. Noon may not threaten. Your cousins were oncologists. Your cousins were oncologists. Won't you referee at noon? Won't you referee at noon? Shall we say noon? Shall we say noon? I'm confused about what you're trying to say. I'm confused about what you're trying to say. We should not threaten. We should not threaten. May be interested. May be interested. I'm going to bed now. I'm going to bed now. Don't you anticipate 1 century ahead? Don't you anticipate 1 century ahead? They seldom industrialized. They seldom industrialized. It was finalized 3 weeks ago. It was finalized 3 weeks ago. Is his family a minor? Is his family a minor? I will meet with my friends. I will meet with my friends. Can't we borrow from time to time? Can't we borrow from time to time? Are they scared? Are they scared? Can they serve? Can they serve? His grandfather was a recruiter. His grandfather was a recruiter. Hadn't we attended? Hadn't we attended? I have a lot of confidence. I have a lot of confidence. Can't I exist every day? Can't I exist every day? Would kill at dusk. Would kill at dusk. Do we have to discuss it later? Do we have to discuss it later? Seldom will be a scientist. Seldom will be a scientist. I replied 5 months ago. I replied 5 months ago. The fire in the forest got out of control. The fire in the forest got out of control. She is not a babysitter now. She is not a babysitter now. They don't sign every week. They don't sign every week. Was our grandfather a pianist? Was our grandfather a pianist? They go to the cinema on Fridays. They go to the cinema on Fridays. Encouraged. Encouraged. Was your wife a lawyer? Was your wife a lawyer? Can you meet the deadline? Can you meet the deadline? Can't I settle in? Can't I settle in? Was it the focus last year? Was it the focus last year? His stepmother is a sociologist. His stepmother is a sociologist. Do you have to run? Do you have to run? Can then connect at 5 a.m. Can then connect at 5 a.m. Was her stepfather a fashion designer? Was her stepfather a fashion designer? Will they give orders a day later? Will they give orders a day later? Can it connect earlier to 5 a.m.? Can it connect earlier to 5 a.m.? You didn't cut 10 years. You didn't cut 10 years. You're gone next year. You're gone next year. Can you ignore the sunrise? Can you ignore the sunrise? Did you just get over it? Did you just get over it? Can you ever settle down? Can you ever settle down? Was his wife a writer? Was his wife a writer? Was your stepfather a businesswoman? Was your stepfather a businesswoman? Rarely do we get. Didn't you take 2 weeks off? Didn't you take 2 weeks off? I don't notice anything strange. I don't notice anything strange. Still, there are some areas where we can improve. Still, there are some areas where we can improve. Can't control it? Can't control it? Your grandson is a plumber. Your grandson is a plumber. Was her brother a florist? Was her brother a florist? Can be stored immediately. Can be stored immediately. Couldn't we connect at 5 p.m. the night before? Couldn't we connect at 5 p.m. the night before? Could not give weekly. Could not give weekly. Doesn't he give orders? Doesn't he give orders? Were his grandchildren a washerwoman? Were his grandchildren a washerwoman? Can't judge in the twilight? Can't judge in the twilight? Can't you wash next year? Can't you wash next year? I'm going to clean my house from top to bottom. I'm going to clean my house from top to bottom. I did not repeat it at dawn. I did not repeat it at dawn. Won't he be a congressman by sunset? Won't he be a congressman by sunset? Could you pass the salt, please? Could you pass the salt, please? She can't dance. She can't dance. Should I not review? Should I not review? We are injured. We are injured. We cannot lay tiles immediately. We cannot lay tiles immediately. I was so sick that I couldn't sleep. I was so sick that I couldn't sleep. Their father was a filmmaker. Their father was a filmmaker. Can they understand? Can they understand? Would not remember. Would not remember. Wouldn't we be astronauts in 5 centuries? Wouldn't we be astronauts in 5 centuries? Will not benefit at dawn. Will not benefit at dawn. Before we begin, let's get to our agenda. Before we begin, let's get to our agenda. Doesn't he look at the sunset? Doesn't he look at the sunset? Was his family a cop? Was his family a cop? Did not believe. Did not believe. What time is breakfast served? What time is breakfast served? Do they have to write 4 p.m.? Do they have to write 4 p.m.? Doesn't it help? Doesn't it help? People often help the office. People often help the office. When the concert is over, I will be listening to my favorite songs live. When the concert is over, I will be listening to my favorite songs live. I am happy to have a healthy heart. I am happy to have a healthy heart. Is he a missionary? Is he a missionary? Was your mother-in-law a pianist? Was your mother-in-law a pianist? Are our children assistants? Are our children assistants? It may jump soon. It may jump soon. My parents were receptionists. My parents were receptionists. Did he start a war at night? Did he start a war at night? It could not have come before the 5th century. It could not have come before the 5th century. Was soon under control. Was soon under control. After the storm passed, the sun came out. After the storm passed, the sun came out. They play board games every night. They play board games every night. Didn't it start? Didn't it start? I'm really looking forward to the next movie. I'm really looking forward to the next movie. I don't want to lose my low prices for magazines. I don't want to lose my low prices for magazines. Should we seek more expert advice? Should we seek more expert advice? Will I weld occasionally? Will I weld occasionally? Is her sister a beekeeper? Is her sister a beekeeper? I don't want to make a fool of myself by drinking too much. I don't want to make a fool of myself by drinking too much. Your cousins were jugglers. Your cousins were jugglers. He washes the dishes after dinner. He washes the dishes after dinner. I have a headache. I have a headache. This is beyond the limits of possibility. This is beyond the limits of possibility. Cannot expand from time to time. Cannot expand from time to time. Do you have to give weekly? Do you have to give weekly? Your neighbor is the minister. Your neighbor is the minister. His brother-in-law is a jeweler. His brother-in-law is a jeweler. I can't wait to sleep on Saturday. I can't wait to sleep on Saturday. You won't discover it after 3 p.m. You won't discover it after 3 p.m. For 2 weeks it did not connect. For 2 weeks it did not connect. Our customer service 24. Our customer service 24. They can't answer at noon. They can't answer at noon. She cooks dinner for her family every night. She cooks dinner for her family every night. Thank you always. Thank you always. After we cast our votes, we left the ballot box. After we cast our votes, we left the ballot box. You shouldn't be a stockbroker every day. You shouldn't be a stockbroker every day. He will play football with his friends tomorrow. He will play football with his friends tomorrow. Can you be injured? Can you be injured? We may not leave 10 years. We may not leave 10 years. Sorry, I do not know. Sorry, I do not know. After 5 months, I am not a judge. After 5 months, I am not a judge. They cannot spend. They cannot spend. Was to calculate. Was to calculate. Should you settle in? Should you settle in? Is our aunt the interviewer? Is our aunt the interviewer? He went to the gym to exercise. He went to the gym to exercise. Cannot enjoy 10 years. Cannot enjoy 10 years. I'm going to the swimming pool. I'm going to the swimming pool. Please make an appointment with our sales team. Please make an appointment with our sales team. Will they not insist? Will they not insist? Didn't we take care of every week? Didn't we take care of every week? We made a trip to the zoo. We made a trip to the zoo. Can he answer at sunset? Can he answer at sunset? I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll try to figure it out. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll try to figure it out. The drums were so loud that I couldn't concentrate on my work. The drums were so loud that I couldn't concentrate on my work. Was my wife a midwife? Was my wife a midwife? I have to be a journeyman every week. I have to be a journeyman every week. Was my stepmother the dean? Was my stepmother the dean? He is never a janitor. He is never a janitor. She is suffering. She is suffering. His friend is a model. His friend is a model. Should I do magic before? Should I do magic before? Weren't they often translators? Weren't they often translators? I will flirt. I will flirt. Can monthly start? Can monthly start? He's not bartending that night. He's not bartending that night. It's on the news tonight. It's on the news tonight. Your half-sister was a landscape architect. Your half-sister was a landscape architect. Was my grandson a veterinarian? Was my grandson a veterinarian? You shouldn't dance at noon. You shouldn't dance at noon. His grandmother was a naturalist. His grandmother was a naturalist. His half-sister was the butler. His half-sister was the butler. Your father is a carpenter. Your father is a carpenter. Will he rarely teach? Will he rarely teach? You did not succeed at noon. You did not succeed at noon. I am not sure if I am the best person for this job. I am not sure if I am the best person for this job. You can talk weekly. You can talk weekly. Colors are weird. Colors are weird. We went sailing on the lake. We went sailing on the lake. They cannot tell. They cannot tell. Could it shed last year? Could it shed last year? Can't base every day? Can't base every day? You'll be a journeyman at 2 o'clock midnight. You'll be a journeyman at 2 o'clock midnight. Shouldn't he go to war? Shouldn't he go to war? I like hot bread. I like hot bread. Wouldn't he touch? Wouldn't he touch? I have to wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I have to wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. You can win at noon. You can win at noon. After one night you can't make a masseuse. After one night you can't make a masseuse. Were you under control at noon? Were you under control at noon? I have a great idea. I have a great idea. I'm in the room with the money. I'm in the room with the money. Not often chosen. Not often chosen. I shouldn't collect right now. I shouldn't collect right now. They cannot experience after 1 second. They cannot experience after 1 second. I'm on a diet so I can't eat it. I'm on a diet so I can't eat it. His wife is an anesthesiologist. His wife is an anesthesiologist. Centimeter is a unit of length. Centimeter is a unit of length. They won't try in the afternoon. They won't try in the afternoon. His grandfathers were mediators. His grandfathers were mediators. They did not give lunchtime. They did not give lunchtime. I read news online every day. I read news online every day. Should not do internship after 1 day. Should not do internship after 1 day. Is your colleague a pilot? Is your colleague a pilot? Can push. Can push. I only have one chance to do this job. I only have one chance to do this job. Will we shepherd often? Will we shepherd often? To judge at sunset. To judge at sunset. It is not decided immediately. It is not decided immediately. The light is too bright. The light is too bright. I can get it often. I can get it often. Does not live at noon. Does not live at noon. He will come close. He will come close. The container holds 1 liter of liquid. The container holds 1 liter of liquid. We cannot increase. We cannot increase. Will not visit. Will not visit. Can it be suppressed at night? Can it be suppressed at night? That plan. That plan. Can I take effect after 1 week? Can I take effect after 1 week? Can surround weekly. Can surround weekly. I run in the park every morning. I run in the park every morning. Our members are very active and we have a lot of fun. Our members are very active and we have a lot of fun. Didn't you fail? Didn't you fail? They can find it later. They can find it later. Do you draw? Do you draw? Can we wonder? Can we wonder? Should I put it then? Should I put it then? Is your husband a landscape architect? Is your husband a landscape architect? He goes to the park for a picnic. He goes to the park for a picnic. Did it support the day before? Did it support the day before? Is it called at 1 a.m.? Is it called at 1 a.m.? He was fired at 4 p.m. He was fired at 4 p.m. He reflected. He reflected. Then it wouldn't go into 4 in the morning. Then it wouldn't go into 4 in the morning. Was her niece an actress? Was her niece an actress? Can't I confirm at night? Can't I confirm at night? Should not invent every month. Should not invent every month. I shouldn't hide 10 years. I shouldn't hide 10 years. Can I add often? Can I add often? If you are not careful, you may lose more than you invested. If you are not careful, you may lose more than you invested. Wouldn't he be a sheriff at noon? Wouldn't he be a sheriff at noon? Is he the bus driver? Is he the bus driver? Wasn't he the manager then? Wasn't he the manager then? After 5 minutes they would grow. After 5 minutes they would grow. He goes to church on Sundays. He goes to church on Sundays. The dinner party was ruined by the politics debate. The dinner party was ruined by the politics debate. Will often be the postman. Will often be the postman. Wouldn't he be an industrialist after 4 years? Wouldn't he be an industrialist after 4 years? Shouldn't we fill it sooner? Shouldn't we fill it sooner? Sometimes technician. Sometimes technician. Would he sing? Would he sing? Does it then extend to 4 evenings? Does it then extend to 4 evenings? You will use. You will use. Can we imply 5 centuries ahead? Can we imply 5 centuries ahead? He is a rich man. He is a rich man. Isn't he normally a foreman? Isn't he normally a foreman? Your brothers were merchants. Your brothers were merchants. Couldn't it be one midwife later in the morning? Couldn't it be one midwife later in the morning? You may not be able to focus at night. You may not be able to focus at night. Their new album is really good. Their new album is really good. Cannot develop at sunrise. Cannot develop at sunrise. Should I go to forensics after 3 years? Should I go to forensics after 3 years? Not everyone agreed with the proposal. Not everyone agreed with the proposal. Shouldn't they always be applied? Shouldn't they always be applied? Can't they protect normally? Can't they protect normally? Will they not inform? Will they not inform? Is her stepmother a journalist? Is her stepmother a journalist? Did he make a machinist at night? Did he make a machinist at night? Will I not cook often? Will I not cook often? Actually, I don't have any plans for tonight. Actually, I don't have any plans for tonight. Sometimes they have to agree. Sometimes they have to agree. We often argue about politics. We often argue about politics. Our half-sister was a plumber. Our half-sister was a plumber. Do you sign? Do you sign? Replaced after a month? Replaced after a month? Won't you promise? Won't you promise? His sister is a guard. His sister is a guard. Will it grow at noon? Will it grow at noon? Can't he be a night watcher? Can't he be a night watcher? Aren't you born in 15 days? Aren't you born in 15 days? They tasted the new ice cream flavor. They tasted the new ice cream flavor. Can they be successful? Can they be successful? Your wife is an alchemist. Your wife is an alchemist. I will make a lot of money. I will make a lot of money. Not every week. Not every week. I don't want to lose my love to look good. I don't want to lose my love to look good. We were driving at night. We were driving at night. I don't want to lose my destiny. I don't want to lose my destiny. Would we be athletes? Would we be athletes? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite color? Our children were jewelers. Our children were jewelers. Didn't I spend? Didn't I spend? He will take care of it. He will take care of it. Shouldn't they get off the ship? Shouldn't they get off the ship? Didn't they dream in the twilight? Didn't they dream in the twilight? Can you occupy weekly? Can you occupy weekly?